We're pleased to welcome now Dr. Kollin Napier, Director of the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network, also known as MAIN, the acronym. Hey, Dr. Napier, good to see you.
Hey, Gerard, great to see you.
All right, so give us the latest. I have been a follower of your social media site, get your emails as well. You guys got a lot going on, but the main thing is just by scanning a QR code, you can access a number of free courses on artificial intelligence offered by MAIN.
Absolutely. And the whole goal, again, is to upskill and reskill Mississippi's workforce, whether you are a current worker or a student going into the workforce. And so Intel's been a great partner utilizing their AI for Workforce program. And to date, we've launched 7 comprehensive courses. They're rich and full of content. And again, it's all free to anybody in Mississippi.
Yeah, and just for comparative purposes, I've actually checked into some of the courses and the programs offered by some of the household names of universities, Johns Hopkins, Stanford, Berkeley, I think Wharton, University of Chicago. Man, it's expensive. And I'm not sure you necessarily get any better instruction or content or material from those super expensive pay-for courses as what you guys are offering.
Well, and we try to keep a constant feedback loop between Intel, who's created this, to the people, the boots on the ground, the people going through and enrolling in it, and as well as our academic partners throughout the state. What can we do to make this as good as we can and as accessible and, approachable to anybody? Again, I don't want to scare anybody away and say, hey, you need to be a computer scientist, because that's not the point. The point is anybody and everybody can learn and utilize these skills.
Yeah, let's be honest. Using these tools, it does not require any sort of computer or technology or IT background. This is just putting end-user tools into practice and how to leverage those resources. This is not really, you're not learning how to necessarily create large language models or create artificial intelligence algorithms, but rather to capitalize and to leverage what's just widely publicly available.
Yeah, that's what I tell a lot of people. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new computer or have all these fancy tools. There are free AI tools. There are open source models. There are things you can pull up your Apple phone now and access Apple Intelligence, ChatGPT. You can pull up a web browser. Make an account. A lot of tools are out there, and people need to be familiar with them and how they interact, and of course the good, the bad, the ugly about them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. And employers are beginning to, many again, prominent employers are creating programs where they're requiring their employees to complete artificial intelligence training. They're actually implementing tools. They're placing those into production where they require their employees to utilize those components to do their job. J.P. Morgan is one. You probably saw that, Kollin, that about 2 months or so ago said, they've been working on a custom-tailored AI tool to utilize in their business environment, and they're requiring all 60,000 employees to utilize it and to complete the training to leverage the tool that they're deploying.
Yes, and it spans all of these Fortune 500 companies, whether they are in the tech industry or not, financial, agricultural, whatever it may be. People are seeing the power and the benefit in terms of efficiency, productivity, and just utilizing it in any way they can to be the best that they can.
That's a great point. This isn't a technology category that applies to a specific industry. This is really I would say just agnostic to that. It applies across the spectrum of industries, and there are use cases for that as well.
Yes, and again, we've seen people in the defense sector, talking about utilizing it in the military. We've seen people from healthcare utilizing it, especially in underserved areas or areas, that people don't have that access or the funding to access a doctor. How could AI play a part to help provide, um, addressing the issues throughout these areas?
Yeah, it is something that's certainly taking the world by storm. It's transformational. And the building blocks, I worked through the industry during a period where we sort of created all these building blocks that have now been widely deployed, and they're powering this revolution. It's internetworking and networking and 5G and hyperconverged computing and hyperscale data centers and ubiquitous access to this information, anything on all these various devices. That's really enabling this new technology, don't you think?
Yeah, especially with things like cloud computing. Our friends at Amazon Web Services, AWS, standing up their Bedrock environment, all these different tools they have available where you can just spin it up in a web browser or on a server and access it and utilize it and get the most benefit. Again, you don't have to back up a Brinks truck and dump, all your money trying to set up infrastructure. You can start out and prototype with a lot of this and then build that out over time. And we have great partners with AWS and many more that we're, asking to come to the state, but also showing them what we've done to date because of what Maine has accomplished with all of these partners.
There are always concerns you hear, of course, about how artificial intelligence could displace, replace human labor and jobs. How do you respond to that, Kollin?
My immediate response is AI in and of itself will not replace you. AI is a tool, not a replacement. But the people who are taking the time to learn what AI is and how they can use it in their day to day lives can and will replace you. It's the workforce of the future. So that's why Maine is taking the initiative and leading Mississippi in providing that awareness training and education across all levels.
Yeah, it's more augmentative than it is replacement, I would say. The goal is to make humans way more productive by having these tools at their disposal.
Absolutely, and that's what we want. We want to be a thriving society, but also a thriving state. We want Mississippi from the Delta to the coast to know what's out there and to use it ethically and responsibly, and what we can to be a leader. And Mississippi's already a leader because of Maine, and we need to continue that trend going forward.
And Maine is somewhat unique, is it not? I mean, you're starting to see more of these programs sprout up. Associated with the academic community in other parts of the country, but you guys were really first out of the chute with this.
Yes, Maine serves as the nation's first and only statewide AI initiative, and we've seen a lot of things start to bubble over time where states like maybe New York or Florida and others are starting to get that idea and expand that as well. They're seeing the success we're having. I'm on calls with other legislators from other states and just asking, hey, what are you doing and how are you doing it? And I tell them, it's no secret. We need to all be doing this around the nation and put the United States first.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're seeing, of course, strong interest amongst our legislative delegation as well. I know you're aware of that. I know they call on you quite a bit for advice and counsel. I wouldn't be surprised to see something perhaps a little more formal stood up by the legislature, maybe a group of subject matter experts that focus on this area to guide them in their policy making.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of positive support as well from our state senators and representatives, anybody from the lieutenant governor to the governor's office. It really is a statewide initiative, and people from all levels, public and private, are all on board, and they really want to utilize it. We've been building up to the point now where, okay, we can prototype solutions, we can provide practical usage, we can really use this not only in state government, but all sectors of the state and continue to be a leader.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for us to leverage this technology in state government, in the operation of our state agencies, and delivering state public services.
Yes, and again, it's just finding that path that we can take. We don't want to just throw all our resources and crash and burn. No, we want to take kind of baby steps in ensuring we're approaching this at a good pace, and then building that out over time, again, where people know what they can do with it and how they can thrive with it.
Yeah. Dr. Kollin Napier, the director of the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network, also known as MAIN, is spearheading this effort to really ensure that Mississippi is on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence in our state. We really appreciate your efforts. Thanks for coming on, Kollin.
Thank you, Gerard. I always appreciate it.
You bet. Folks, we're stepping aside for a break. We're coming right back in the Element Wealth studios.